Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the second episode of the Goat Chat podcast. I'm here with Connor, Matt, and Tommy. We are back to talk about some interesting topics today. We are so excited to have you back. The support on last week's episode was amazing. Thank you so much for watching and following and commenting on all our stuff. We really appreciate the support, and we are going to look to continue to grow. And so we actually have a new introductory segment this week. So starting from every episode from now on, we are going to have the GOAT of the number. So what that means, so for every episode number, so today's episode 2, so we are going to pick the best athlete in our minds that has wore the number 2. So we're going to start off with you, Connor. Who do you think was the best athlete of all time to wear the number 2?
I mean, I hope the answer to this question is pretty evident considering that I only had one thought in my mind, and that's being Derek Jeter. I mean, yes, I'm a longtime Yankees fan, and that I might sound a little biased when I'm saying that, but I mean, all of his accomplishments over his season or over his career, 3,000 hits, 5 World Series titles. I mean, everything he's done is just – it's definitely made him the best number 2 in my eyes.
Great choice. What about you, Matt?
I got to go with Derek Jeter, too. I think this is pretty unanimous, especially because we got, like, the biggest Yankee fan below me. But Derek Jeter is just – he was an idol for me, and I'm not even a baseball fan, so.
All right, Tommy, shock the world. Let us know who you think.
Well, of course it's going to be Derek Jeter. I mean, how could he not be the best to ever wear number 2? 14-time All-Star, 3,465 hits, 5-time World Series champion, 5-time Gold Glover, a 5-time Silver Slugger. I mean, you know.
I just love how you have all of those stats memorized. I feel like you read them like just when you go to bed, just like, 5-time Gold Glover.
He's literally a Yankees encyclopedia.
I knew most of those, but I will admit that I do have Baseball Reference up on the right side of the screen here just to make sure that I got everything right. Yeah. But, you know, Derek Jeter, he's the definition of consistency. Played 20 years in the big leagues, all with the Yankees, and he's a winner, so you can't ask for any more than that.
Mike, you going to agree with us?
What'd you say, Matt?
Are you going to be agreeing with us, hopefully?
Well, I mean, of course. You know, Derek Jeter is definitely the best number 2 player of all time. But as much as it pains me to say, because I am a sorry Mets fan, he did have a fantastic career. You know, he had a 310, 377, 440 slugging split. So I think he had a fantastic career. He's not doing a great job with the Marlins right now, and I definitely think he gave Stanton to the Yankees, you know, just because it was the Yankees. But, you know, we're not going to get into that anyways. So I think we are pretty unanimously in on Derek Jeter being the best number 2. But like this was mentioned before we started filming, I do think Kawhi could sneak in depending on what he does from now on. If he wins like 2 more championships and climbs in like the all-time, you know, stats rankings, and if he beats LeBron in the playoffs and goes on to beat Giannis in the finals, you know, he could potentially be propelled to the best number 2 if he continues to win.
And if he keeps laughing like that, I mean, we could vote on that on its own. That was crazy.
Yeah, I can't agree with you anymore.
You can't agree with me?
I'm agreeing with you.
Oh, okay. Kind of. What do you think about that? Do you think Kawhi could possibly pass Derek Jeter in the future?
It's tough to say that he can pass him. I'd say that he could become very close to where Derek Jeter is. The thing with Derek Jeter is he's more than just a baseball player to a lot of people. He has that mentorship and he has that role model aspect to him that a lot of other athletes don't have. So yes, we're calling him the best, like the greatest of all time because of his number 2 and because of his on the field accomplishments. But I mean, he's had just the same amount as off the field accomplishments. I mean, he's done so much different things throughout the New York community and has helped them out so much. You don't see that with a lot of athletes. So on the court, I can definitely see Kawhi getting to that magnitude, but off the court, I don't see anyone reaching Derek Jeter's.
Well said. All right. Well, let's go ahead and move on to the next topic.
So for our next topic, it is going to be if the playoffs in the National Basketball Association started today, who we would think would run the table and win the NBA championship. Matt, why don't we start with you over there?
This question it's so hard for me just because, if let's say it started right now, there's possibility that Kevin Durant might be able to play. Kyrie would be back for the Nets, and obviously the Nets are still in contention. Pretty sure at the 7th seed in the East. So that comes into play, but I don't think it's going to affect the winner of the trophy. I think that the championship would go to the Lakers, bring it back in tribute for Kobe partially, and LeBron just getting another ring.
Can I jump in here with a different LA team? I'm going to say Clippers. Like we just talked about, Kawhi Leonard, he's having a great season there, him and Paul George together. You add the defensive abilities of Patrick Beverley getting all up in your face, not letting you handle the ball. They're sitting there right at number 2 in the West. The Lakers are 1, but I mean, the Clippers aren't very far behind. You could definitely see them making a push, and I could see them beating the Lakers in the playoffs.
I definitely have to agree with you, Connor. I think it's going to come down to the Battle of LA. And the thing that I think is going to propel the Clippers over the Lakers is going to be their bench play. And honestly, they're playing the clutch time. The Clippers are 8th in the league in free throw percentage at 79.2%. The Lakers are 28th at 73%. And the Clippers are 24th in clutch free throws percentage, at 73.6. But the Lakers are all the way down at 29th, second to last in the league at 67.7%. So I think when it comes down to the clutch time and for the Lakers and the Clippers to make free throws, I think the Clippers are going to be propelled while the Lakers are going to stay behind. So also the bench play, you have Lou Williams and Montrezl Harrell coming off the bench, both two really big factors. And I just think Kawhi has a dog in him. I just don't think LeBron, I think he won't show up for the playoffs. He usually does sometimes. Yeah, he had that nice 2016 win against the Warriors, but other than that, has he really been clutch and showed up in, big game situations to ultimately win? Obviously, he showed up in certain specific games, but when has he showed up to win the title? And that's my whole thing about LeBron. Kawhi showed up. He's knocked that shot against the 76ers. He carried the Raptors to the title last year, and I just think the Clippers are a better team than the Lakers.
Tommy, do you have anything to add here?
Well, I'm going to have to agree with Matt. I'm going to go with the Lakers. I think they got off to a great start, 49-14, up 5.5 games in the Western Conference. And one thing that I think is worthy of noting, too, they have a better record on the road than at home. They were 26-6 on the road, which is very big in the postseason. So I'm going to go with the Lakers.
Well, it doesn't matter if it's on the road or at home. They're playing at the same arena. They're both playing at the Staples Center. So in fact, that just worsens your argument. That just weakens your argument.
Would they play each other though, like in the postseason?
Well, I mean, I think we all can agree that they're the two best teams of the Western Conference, and they most likely will meet in the Western Conference Finals if the league were to continue today. So, if you want to say the Clippers are going to get eliminated, and the Lakers will have to go on the road, go ahead. You could say that they're going to win all 3 games on the road, but
Tommy, let's not discredit Tommy's point here, okay?
Well, I'm going to discredit it a little bit because here's the deal. I forgot. They might not even be playing at these arenas. But, no, I was thinking more like big picture. Like, I wasn't really thinking about the Clippers too much.
Yeah, that's fair.
I was thinking more like in the NBA Finals to where it's an advantage. But I don't know. You both make good points. I don't know.
So the one thing is that the Nuggets would be in the way of the Clippers. I'm not saying the Nuggets would win because I don't think the Nuggets will win, but there is always a possibility where the Nuggets can eliminate the Clippers.
Well, I think one big thing about the NBA returning is going to be chemistry. A lot of teams had good chemistry moving forward, but now they took this break. And I think one thing the Clippers thrived on doing is playing without a bunch of chemistry. A lot of their players were hurt throughout the year, and I think they only played like 9 games when their whole team was together, and they went 9-0. And they were really starting tearing up at the end of the season. I understand that they did lose their last game to Lakers, but I think that was more of a fluke game. Avery Bradley went 6 for 12 from 3, and Marcus Morris went 0 for 9 from the field. Lou Williams 3 for 11 from the field. So I think that was a fluke game. They were really starting to pick it up at the end of the season. So I think the Clippers would be able to thrive with less chemistry on their team. Connor, what do you think?
I definitely agree. When you get Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, and I mean, you could even throw Patrick Beverley into a quote-unquote big 3 there for the Clippers. I think they have like a good group there. I mean, Montrezl Harrell is there. They have a great bench. There's gonna be a big competition in the West once we get back to playing some basketball.
I mean, the Lakers have 2 of the best players like in the NBA on their team, in LeBron and Anthony Davis.
But
you can say the same about the Clippers.
You don't see
Paul George and Kawhi Leonard are not 2 of the best NBA players. They're not top 5 players. They're not.
Are you saying Kawhi Leonard is not top 5 player?
Kawhi is, but Paul George isn't.
Okay, you could say Paul George is not, but Kawhi won the championship last year, right, with the Raptors, with not another superstar on the team. Can we agree with that?
But the Raptors are still good without him. So what's the point there?
Okay.
If you look at the Lakers' numbers, LeBron James and Anthony Davis do not have good games together. It'll be either Anthony Davis showing off or LeBron showing off, and that is not the mentality for a winning team.
I mean, they are winning now. They've been winning all season.
But so are the Clippers when they're getting numbers from everyone on the floor.
I can't see the Clippers beating Anthony Davis and LeBron James.
Okay, but that's 2 players. You're forgetting about the other 10, 11 guys on the team.
LeBron did it without LeBron. Okay, LeBron, like, he had Kyrie, obviously.
How'd LeBron do last year in LA?
When he didn't make the playoffs.
How'd LeBron do last year in LA when he didn't have anyone?
Okay, he didn't make the playoffs. But he's got Anthony Davis now.
Anthony Davis is not that.
Okay, listen, Anthony Davis is really good, but listen, personally, I think Kawhi Leonard is just a tad better than LeBron James. I think that goes to the defensive side of the ball.
Wait, hang on.
Kawhi Leonard is just a tad better than LeBron James. After he won the championship last year, he's just a tad better. If LeBron can't lead his team to the playoffs last year, how are you going to say LeBron is better? Honestly, LeBron is older now. He can't play as good defense as before. Kawhi Leonard is locked down defensively. I just said that, yes. And you're going to see in the playoffs if the NBA does come back.
Mike,
all right, we'll see, Mike. I can't wait to see this.
I can't wait either.
All right, let's switch out of LA. Okay, how about the East? Can we just talk about the East? It's like a question mark.
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Yes, Tommy.
That's my guy.
I'm going to say the Miami Heat. I know you guys aren't going to like that.
Come on here. Just makes no sense. That just makes no sense.
Hear me out here. Are you guys ready?
Yeah, I hear you, but it's going to be dumb. Go ahead.
They added 2 very good rookies in Kendrick Nunn and Tyler Hero. They have gotten very young. Myers Leonard is showing off this season. Bam Adebayo is having a breakout season. They're a young team. They're going to be going up against Giannis. They've beaten the Bucks already 2 times this season. The Raptors, they've beaten the Raptors 3 times. They have 1 more game against the Raptors. And who's the team in front of them? The Sixers or something like that? Maybe in 4 right now.
What about the Celtics?
I don't know overall.
Oh, the Heat are 3 right now, I'm pretty sure.
The Heat are sitting 4 behind.
No, I thought 4 was Celtics because I thought Celtics were Sixers.
Raptors are 2nd, Celtics are 3rd. I think the Heat are 4th and the Sixers were just 5th.
But I mean,
they're 12 games back.
The Heat are a young team. They're a young team, and if they were really starting to mend together there towards the middle of the season, and I mean, you have Duncan Robinson who's laser from 3-pointer. They have all these pieces, and if they can all play together, they are a young team. And if they don't win the championship this year, they will within the next 3 years.
Guys, I just want to let you know that the Pacers are 5th, Sixers are 6th. Sixers are 6th. So
And the
it would be
Brooklyn
Sixers
Nets
playing
stuff?
Celtics, Heat playing Pacers, but the Heat would win that.
Okay.
But anyone else want to talk about the East? I mean,
Yeah.
personally,
No, I mean, wait. Let me just ask you something. Like, Bam is really good, but I don't give a damn if he won the skills competition.
I'm not talking about the skills
I
challenge.
know you aren't talking about the skills competition, but he's pretty good on the in actual games, but he's just not that good. They have
How
Jimmy
many
Butler.
guys are putting up triple doubles every night?
Can you let me finish? I'm just saying he's not a superstar. He's not even a star. He's just a really good younger player. You look at Jimmy Butler, he's a star. Who's their best guy? If you have Jimmy Butler as the best player in your team, you're going to be the 6th, 7th seed, and you're getting knocked down in the first round. Obviously, it's different with the Heat because they have a better supporting cast than his past teams. But you look at the Celtics, you look at the Raptors, you look at the Bucks. They're all better than the Heat. It just flat out, period. Flat out, period.
Here's the thing with this Miami Heat team is the talent that they're going up against doesn't matter. Duncan Robinson can get hot. Duncan Robinson can hit 10 threes in a game. Jimmy Butler can score 35 points and get 12 boards. Bam Adebayo is going to crash the boards consistently. He's going to get 10 rebounds a game. He's going to get plus 10 points a game. And you're going to see him multiple times in the rest of the season and in the postseason getting 10 assists.
Okay, but you're saying they're young, but they're also inexperienced. You look at the Celtics, very experienced team. You look at the Raptors, former champions, very experienced team. You also look at the Bucks, another experienced team. So you think all this young energy is going to come well and just the best positive outcome, the optimal outcome is going to come out for the Heat? It's just not. They have a great coach in Eric Spoelstra, but the Celtics are better. Jason Tatum was really starting to rise up as a superstar and emerge as the best player in the Celtics last year near the end of the season. The Bucks, you have Giannis, you have Chris Middleton. Their whole team is great. The Raptors, very good defensive team, just well built overall with Kyle Lowry and Pascal Siakam. There's just no scenario in my mind where someone other than the Raptors, Celtics, or Bucks come out of the East.
Mike.
Yes.
Mike, who are you going to take?
I'm going to take the Bucks. But listen, hear me out. I understand I might be a little biased here, but I do think the Celtics have a slim chance to get past the Bucks. They have beat them in the regular season before, and I think they usually always give them a good fight, except for last year when they had Kyrie. They always give the Bucks a good fight in the playoffs, and I think Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are really going to step up. So they could win the series against the Bucks, but I don't think they will. I think the Bucks will meet the Clippers in the finals, and the Clippers will come out victorious. So I think that's what's going to happen. Yes, Kyle.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I think the safest option for me to pick is the Bucks, so I'm just going to pick that. But I definitely think the Celtics can get to the finals. I don't think the Heat will make it. Sorry, Connor. I just don't. I think they'll win the first round. I just don't think they'll get further than that.
Can I comment on the Bucks for a second?
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
What changed for the Bucks from last year to this year? Who did they add? How far did they get last year?
Well, the Raptors had Kawhi. The Bucks were up 2-0 in the series, and Kawhi just came back against them. I mean, like, the Bucks are a really good team. It's just another year more chemistry together. You look at, like, every statistical category, the Bucks are always in the top 5. Defensive rating, offensive rating, three-point percentage, free throw percentage, all of it. The Bucks are just the best team in the East, and it's just obvious.
But you can say that during the regular season, but once they are in the postseason against against the 7 other best teams in their conference, those numbers aren't going to be the same.
Okay. They're still going to be better than everyone else.
Let's hear what Tommy has to say, okay? Let's hear what Tommy wants to say.
Okay, well, I'm going to go with the Bucks as well because they were outstanding. They had the best record in the NBA. And how can you not be good when you have the Lopez brothers on your team? You got Lopez.
Exactly.
No, but they have a lot of young talent, obviously, headlined by Giannis. Not even going to try the last name, but no, I tried it earlier and I butchered it. But No, and they were outstanding, 34-5 in the conference. So I'm gonna have to go with the Bucks.
And I just want to add one thing about the Heat. Like Jimmy Butler, like he's really good, but he's a second or third player on a championship team. He's averaging 20 points this season. That's not a ton of points. You were saying he was going to put up 32 points and 10 to 12 boards a game in the playoffs. When you get into the playoffs, it's really hard for your averages to go up 50 to 100% if you're playing better competition on a daily basis. So I don't know where you're getting those numbers from, thinking he's going to score 32 points a game. You're looking at the optimal outcome. That's it.
Jimmy's best numbers this season have come from when he's playing the best teams. He struggles against these teams that are on the bottom. That's when the Heat shine with Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero and Kendrick Nunn. That's when they have their good games. When
Duncan Robinson, Kendrick Nunn, they're not going to take them to a finals.
They're just a bunch of role players.
Yeah, like what are they going to do?
You guys wait 2 years.
People didn't think Nick Foles was going to.
Wait 2 years and those role players.
Tommy, that's so different. But
I know, I'm kidding. Nick Foles is my favorite. That's fine.
What were you saying, Connor?
I apologize, Connor.
You wait 2 years and these role players in Duncan Robinson and Kendrick Nunn.
That's 2 years from now. We're talking about this year.
Talking about right now, like
I'm not saying they're not going to win this year, but you're calling these players role players right now, and that's what they may be. But they're playing a very pivotal role in a team. They're bringing this role in their team right now is bringing these Heat to the number 4 seed in the East when no one is saying they should because their only star player on the team is Jimmy Butler.
Okay, you want to talk about roles? You know what's the most important role in a championship team? The superstar. Who's the best player? Jimmy Butler is just not going to cut it. End of the day. Period. Just not going to cut it.
Mike is heated right now.
Just not going to cut it.
You put Jimmy Butler and Bam together. Dude.
You get a 4C in the East. That's what you get. If you put Jimmy Butler and Bam together, you get a 4C in the East. Are you proud about that? No. You don't get championships.
And that team
has beaten the number one second round exit.
And that team has beaten the number 1 and 2 seeds more times than they've lost.
Okay. Right.
Right.
I mean, we'll see in the playoffs.
I think this is a great time to wrap this question up and move on to the next one, where we have a question that was tweeted by CBS Sports. Upcoming. Welcome back to GOAT Chat. We come back to you after we had a very heated discussion about the NBA, but we're going to swing it over to CBS Sports, who posted this: name a player you think could be an absolute star, but just hasn't been given the opportunity. That's why I'm going to swing it over to Connor Wood.
So I when I was thinking about this question, I listed a couple different names, but I think the biggest one on my list is now Miami Marlins player, Jonathan VR. He was in Baltimore to begin his career. And I mean, he had a solid career in Baltimore, but I think once you put him on, I don't want to say better team because Miami still isn't that good, but once you put him on a team with a better caliber and he has more people around him, I think he could really excel. I mean, over the past 3 seasons, he has 98 career steals, and that's in 3 seasons. And he's also played all 162 games in the season, twice in his career. So, I mean, that shows that he's durable. And, I mean, he can play ball. And I think if you put him down in Miami where he has more chance of success, he's really going to shine.
Good points, Connor. What do you think, Tommy?
Well, I'm going to have to go with Clint Frazier. He came over to the Yankees in 2016 in the trade that sent Andrew Miller there. That team went to the World Series. And when they made that trade, Clint was the main piece. Brian Cashman was thinking about building the outfield around him moving forward. Aaron Judge hadn't come up at that point, and obviously he came up and excelled. But, Clint Frazier, he's been plagued by injuries. He's had multiple concussions that have come in spring training. And one thing about him is he's going to give 110% every time he's out there. And he's really done well on the offensive side of the ball, but his defensive struggles have definitely hurt him. And a prime example of that, I think back to that Sunday Night Baseball game last year in June. I think he had 3 errors against the Red Sox. And after the game, he refused to speak to the media. And, that was really, I think, what prevented him from getting called up the rest of the season. Obviously, the Yankees set the record last year for the most injuries ever in a baseball season, and he still wasn't getting called up. But you take a look at his offensive numbers. Last year he hit 267, 12 home runs, 38 RBIs in just under 70 games, which is very respectable. And in his other 2 seasons, he really hasn't played too much, just about 50 games because of the injuries. But yeah, I think if Clint is given the opportunity to play a full season, he can definitely make something happen, be an all-star. I think a perennial all-star. So I definitely like to see Clint get some more opportunities.
I'd say one thing with Clint Frazier. I love the guy, and I think he's a really good Yankee, but I think his character also says a lot to say about him, because when they sent him back down, when one of their outfielders had returned and were ready to play, he on his Instagram, he deleted all of his pictures of him as a Yankee, which kind of just goes to show that, like, he only wants to be a part of the organization if he's on the big league team. And I mean, sometimes, you only have 25 spots on that roster. And when you got guys like Aaron Judge and Stanton and Brett Gardner and Aaron Hicks out there, there's just not enough space for him. So, that character is also, I think, a big reason what plays into why he hasn't had that real opportunity yet.
Well, I think one thing about Clint Frazier, I think he's just so talented that, if I was in his position, I wouldn't have, deleted my post of me as a Yankee off my Instagram. But that was definitely immature. But he's just wasting his talent in AAA right now. Like, the Mets definitely could have used him last year. I know there were a bunch of trade rumors with Noah Syndergaard, DeGrom last year and all that stuff. But I think I definitely agree with you, Tommy. I think if he gets the opportunity, he could really show why he was such a big piece in that Andrew Miller deal.
For sure. And what you guys said about the character is absolutely right, because, in New York, you have to be responsible for your actions. And, you have a bad game, you got to be there at the locker to talk to reporters. You can't refuse to speak, especially when the Yankees PR team, they specifically asked for him to speak and he refused. He was nowhere to be found. And you just can't do that. You have to be accountable. We talked about Derek Jeter earlier in the show. Derek was always accountable, and, he did everything right on off the field. And I'm not saying that Clint has to be Derek Jeter, but you got to be there, and you got to be visible, and, take responsibility.
Be mature, be accountable, be responsible.
Right.
It's not that hard. I think that's one of the reasons why the Yankees haven't, called him up on a consistent basis, haven't kept him up on a consistent basis.
These are all really, really good points, Tommy. Why don't we swing it over to Matt? Matt, who do you think is hasn't gotten the opportunity?
I think there's so many people to pick in this situation. It's hard for me, but I'm gonna go with. See, I was thinking about 2 different people, but I don't know which one to pick. So you remember Carson Edwards, the Purdue guard, who plays on the Celtics. I think that if he played good NBA minutes, like if you just consistently put him in, I think he would be able to do really well for the Celtics.
Oh, he is a sharpshooter.
Yeah, he's a good player. But also a person that came to mind is Kyle Guy, who I personally like. But he's been killing it in the G League, and that's a fact. He's got 21 points per game in the G League. He got called up for 2 games for the Kings, and it was like 1 minute, and he scored 3 points in 1 minute. If the Kings consistently put him in, or even like a different team that maybe fit him more. Everyone's looking for a shooter. So I think if he got on a team that fit him well, that he'd be able to maybe not be an all-star. I'm not saying I'm not making that big of a jump. But I definitely think that he could start to see more minutes and gradually become a star.
Like a nice role player, like a Kyle Korver or a Doug McDermott. That's what I would see him as.
Yeah, he's a great shooter. He was great on Virginia. But who knows? What do you guys
think about that, Connor?
Mike, who are you thinking? I really don't have much more to add on that. Who's your underrated?
So there's a bunch of players I could go. I could go to the NHL with Henrik Borgstrom on the Florida Panthers. He's kind of underutilized right now in the minors, but I'm gonna go all the way up to Buffalo. I'm gonna go with Devin Singletary. Listen, Frank Gore is gone now, and he will have the opportunity next year. Who's behind him? TJ Yeldon? No one, right? So I think if he gets the opportunity, he averaged 5.1 yards per carry. Last year, 6.7 yards per catch. He had 2 receiving and 2 rushing touchdowns. But one thing that does concern me about him, he had 4 fumbles on only 151 carries. That's a high fumble rate. So I think if he fixes up those fumbles, he's really good. He's really quick. He's fast. He's small. He can squeeze through all the holes that Buffalo makes for him. So I think he's my top candidate for, someone that could break out. I also could look to Tony Pollard in Dallas. And, this might be a hot take, and me as a Dallas fan, I was really disappointed in how Zeke played last year. I think he was slow. I didn't think he was explosive at all. I think Tony Pollard was a better player than Zeke last year. I was upset that they didn't get him more touches than he got last year. I think he's just explosive. He makes people miss. Until I see Zeke be able to make people miss, I'm going to be campaigning for Tony Pollard as a Dallas Cowboys fan, because Zeke just isn't cutting it right now for the price that Dallas is paying him.
I love that Devin Singletary. Like, right when you said it, I knew that was actually a really good idea to bring up, just because, Buffalo could have got like Todd Gurley, Melvin Gordon. They could have even drafted a running back, but they definitely stuck with Singletary, and they're kind of just saying, do what you do and just be out there and play, and we'll see what you can do on the field.
I definitely agree. That was a very good choice, Mike.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Another person that comes to my mind, though, who's a running back, is Benny Snell Jr. In the Steelers organization. I think that I personally am not a James Conner fan myself. I don't think that he's that good of a starting running back. I just think that, he was Bell's replacement, so they just ran with it and they believed in him. But I think that Benny Snell was a great pick for them, and he did pretty well. For his, obviously, for what they had him as a backup running back, I think he did pretty well, and I think that if the Steelers kind of let go of James Conner, he could really run with the team.
I'll stick with the NFL, and I'll throw out one more name, and that's someone who originally did have success, and then, they kind of fell off. Hopefully they can get it back now with the new team, is Teddy Bridgewater. I think when he came into the league from Louisville,
Yeah.
And he was on Minnesota, he was lighting it up his first year, first couple years, and then, obviously he had his pretty disgusting leg injury. He had to rehab back. But I think he had that really, really short stint, just the offseason with the Jets, and then he went to the Saints. But I think with him now in a starting role in Carolina, and Carolina added some receivers around him. They have Robbie Anderson, who he did work with through the offseason when he was with the Jets. I really think that he has the pieces. He has McCaffrey out of the backfield to roll with. I really think that he's going to break out in Carolina, and he could make them a top team.
I think I compare him to someone like a Ryan Tannehill, how he broke out last year. If Carolina can, obviously, it's different style running back. Derrick Henry is more of a power back, while Christian McCaffrey, he can be a power back, but he's more of like a receiving, a little between, like, outside the tackles type guy. But I think he could just be a really good game manager. I don't think he has like amazing skill or anything like that. I think if he just goes out there and makes the correct reads, I think he could be a solid starting quarterback in the NFL. And you saw that last year when he went 5-0 with the Saints.
I did not like Teddy Bridgewater, obviously, because I'm a Packers fan when he was on the Vikings. But definitely I can agree with that. He's got the best running back in the league behind him. And then he's got a wide receiver like DJ Moore, who I think is a good player too. But I will pose this question, and I don't think it's not impossible, but does Phillip Walker, could he take his position? Because I'm just saying that because Matt Rule, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but the coach of the Panthers did work with him. So is there a chance that, Matt bringing him on, there's like competitiveness between both of them?
It could be a prove it situation. I would say that right now it's definitely Teddy's job.
Yeah.
But if Teddy's not performing well in the first couple of weeks, I think it could be all right, it's time to prove it, or else I have someone who will. I think he was brought there to put some pressure on Teddy, but I think Teddy's going to succeed.
I don't even think he was brought there to put pressure on Teddy. Teddy got signed a 3-year, $60 million deal. You don't give that to someone who you want to prove. You give a 1-year deal or franchise tag to someone who you want to prove. I think PJ Walker is there just to be, a good backup, third stringer, second stringer. I would love to see PJ Walker. He killed in the XFL. He was a great dual threat quarterback, and I don't know how that's going to translate to the NFL. It is a little bit different game, a little different rules, but at the end of the day, it is still football, and I hope PJ Walker can translate that to the NFL. And you're forgetting that they still drafted Will Grier in the 5th round last year out of West Virginia. He did play one game last year, just stunk it up, but they still invested some capital in him. I don't think they want to give up on him and just hand the keys over to PJ Walker as their backup quarterback.
Yeah, you bring up Will Grier, but I just don't think he'll be in the running. I'm not a fan of Will Grier at all. But
you don't think so?
Yeah,
I think he's good at West Virginia, but I don't know anymore.
Another quarterback who's good at West Virginia was Geno Smith. We saw how that worked out.
I mean, I don't even know why I'm shaking my head at that. You're the Jets fan here.
Yeah, you understand the most.
That shows something.
I don't think he was good at his Mr. Butt Fumble though, right, Tommy?
Don't know too much about the butt fumble. I've heard about it.
You have to search it after this video.
Okay, I'll definitely search it.
Oh, just one more name before we wrap everything up. Robert Williams from the Celtics. He's a big, athletic center. I think if he gets time, I think he'd be the next DeAndre Jordan. And what I mean by that, just someone who is going to chase rebounds, just be someone that's reliable and athletic in the paint. So I just wanted to throw him out there because I think if he gets some minutes, he's averaging 1.2 blocks in 14 minutes per game. That's ridiculous. So I think if he just gets, 25 minutes a game, he could average 3 blocks, average 8 points a game, 10 rebounds. It's not out of the ordinary, I think, but he's just another name I want to throw out there.
Welcome back to GOAT Chat. We are at our final segment. We had it last week, which Tommy Mumau won with the Frontline Workers. This is the GOAT of the Week. I'm going to throw it over to Mike. He's going to let us know who his GOAT of the Week is.
Okay, I'm going all the way to Germany for my GOAT of the Week. I'm going with Erling Haaland. He scored the first Bundesliga goal in months. He's just been a stud for Borussia Dortmund. He's had 10 goals in his last 9 Bundesliga games. He's had 13 goals in 12 games with Borussia Dortmund in total. So I think he's an absolute stud. He's only 19 years old. He's killing it, and I expect big things from him in the future.
Tommy, who's your GOAT of the Week?
I'm going to go with LeBron James for my GOAT of the Week. He hosted the Graduate Together virtual event for all of the high school seniors that unfortunately won't be able to have a normal graduation. Some schools might have it later in the summer. But, very nice thing from LeBron to recognize these high schoolers. And there were a lot of notable celebrities there. Kevin Hart was there. Shaq was there. Pharrell Williams. The Obamas were there. So lots of people there to recognize the high school seniors, and I just think it's a great thing to do for them.
Tommy, this is awfully a LeBron-themed Zoom for you.
Yeah, and I don't know. Oh, I have one more thing on LeBron. This isn't really related to anything he's doing with that, but his media company, I didn't even know he had that. The LeBron James Media Company has announced that they're going to do a documentary on the Houston Astros cheating scandal, which I think is great. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm going to watch it. I can't wait.
They were using their resources. I don't know what you're talking about.
They were not using their resources.
Let's not get them all fired.
This is another question.
This is a topic for another day.
Connor?
Episode on that.
I'm going to go with
just 50 minutes of Tommy just ranting. Okay.
That's a special episode you guys will see later.
My GOAT of the Week is going to be NASCAR driver Ryan Newman. And, I'm not a big NASCAR fan, but I'm sure we all have seen the crash of him from the Daytona 500 when his car was hit multiple times and he flipped in the air multiple times. And NASCAR is back today. They're racing at 3:30 at some track. I'm not exactly sure.
Darlington.
At Darlington. And he's going to be able to race today for the first time since the accident. So him just getting through all of that and all of his time in the hospital and just all that, and him getting back on the track. So for that reason, Ryan Newman's my go to the week. Matt, why don't you finish us up here?
My go of the week is Tua Tagovailoa. Yes, I pronounced it right. I've been practicing this past 2 years. The reason why Tua is my go of the week is because I love my mama. We all love our moms. And what he did for Mother's Day was he bought her a Cadillac Escalade, very nice car, for Mother's Day. And, for his first paycheck being in the NFL, just giving back to his family and the people that brought him into this world. And, I just love that nice emotional story, especially when we don't have sports. And it's tough to pick a go of the week, but go ahead, Michael.
No, I was just going to say that's definitely a great go of the week. And also one thing about LeBron James, his school in Akron that he made, I just thought that's another great thing. So as much as I criticize him as a basketball player, I think he's a great person. I just want to put it out there.
We've got a good panel here for our Goats of the Week. We're going to post a poll on our Instagram page. It's going to be right here. Go vote on who had the best Goat of the Week, and we will announce it next week.
Well, other than that, thank you guys for tuning in for a second episode. Make sure to follow us we're on everything, okay? We got Twitter. We even got TikTok, okay?
We're killing on the talk.
Yeah. More Tommy videos are going to be coming out on the talk too, so.
For sure, I'm ready.
Stay tuned for that, and thank you guys.
All of our handles will be, in the middle of the screen. All of our personal Instagrams will be right here down below. So yeah.
Yeah, subscribe.
Don't forget to subscribe.
Merch link in bio or not yet?
No, Tommy, not yet. Merch is not yet. I just want to say this. I did see that 65% of the people that watched their last video are not subscribed. So I don't know what you guys are doing. You better hit the subscribe button. Please.
Just hit it. It's easy. Just one click.
If you're watching our videos, you like it.
Healthy.
Stay safe.
Oh, yeah. Everyone stay healthy. That too. Yeah. All right.
Well, thanks for watching again. Thanks for all the support. We'll see you next week.